Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Euroman Movie Report, the show where I talk about a movie I have recently watched at my local movie theatre. This week I'm going to talk about Crawl. Crawl is this monster Jaws ripoff set in the state of Florida during a very horrible hurricane. We have this main character, and she's this 30-something college student who I guess is supposed to be in her 20s, and she was and still is, we are told, a competitive swimmer. She participates in a crawl. yeah, that's a type of swimming discipline to my knowledge. And in the beginning of the film, she loses this tournament, and then she gets a call from her sister, Beth, and and she has a child, and our main character, she doesn't have children or a husband/boyfriend. And we're told by the sister that she's worried about their dad, played by Barry Pepper. You know, the guy from Battlefield Earth, and of course Saving Private Ryan, and the very famous scene from We Were Soldiers where that other guy, he says, "Gentlemen, prepare to defend yourselves," and where Barry Pepper, he plays this reporter journalist. But anyway, our main character, she drives down to Florida, and she comes to this junction where the police put up a roadblock and says the road is closed, etc. And she meets this cop who I guess was supposed to be an ex-boyfriend of her sister's, and she small talks a bit with him, and then she turns around and says fuck it, and then she drives down to the town where she grew up and starts to search for her dad. Then she arrives at the first house, and and then she finds his small dog, but there's no sign of him. So she drives down to their supposed original house, and there she crawls down into the basement, where she finds an injured Barry Pepper. And I must really say, the bad guys in this film aren't the alligators. They are, I must say, Florida building contractors, because I must say that's the house she arrives at. I have seen houses in third world nations built more sternly than that house. And down there in the basement, when she tries to circle back for help, then she suddenly hears a sound, and then there's this very bad CG animated alligator, and Barry Pepper, he says, the gator it got into the basement through a drainage pipe. And I must say, I'm a European, but who the fuck puts a drainage pipe into a lake? Sewage drainage pipe into a lake? I don't understand. Is that really how we do things in Florida? Yeah, so anyway, she tries to circle back, and of course, and then another funny thing about this movie is, of course, these alligators, they must be Florida family values alligators, because in the duration of the movie, our main character and Barry Pepper, they have all these father-daughter moments where the gators do not attack. So I guess these gators must be family value alligators to some extent. And our main character, she of course tries desperately to signal for help, and then there are these burglars who burglarize the gas station next to the house, but yeah, the gators makes short work of them, especially the chick with the dreadlocks. So I guess these gators are not only family value gators, but they are also social justice warrior gators, because they killed a white girl with the dreadlocks. And then, of course, our main character, she tries in a desperate struggle to get up to the living room in the house, but then the path up to the living room is blocked by this thing, so she can't get up there. And then she spots the ex-boyfriend cop of her sisters and his partner, and they come in this boat. And you know, when some seaweed gets stuck in the propeller of the boat, then that guy is gonna die, and of course he dies. And and another hint of that is that he looks very stupidly at the swing, and something pulling at the swing, and then suddenly it says, and then he of course dies. And then the ex-boyfriend of the main character's sister, and he comes into the living room and says, "Hello, is anyone down there?" And then there's this side shot of this of him, and then we have the CG gator coming, what? And then our main character, she goes, and we hear this bone crushing again. And then, of course, in the whole duration of the movie, our main character and Barry Pepper, they try to get up through the house, and then they conclude that the only way to get at a boat over the destroyed gas station is, of course, that our main character, who is a competitive swimmer, has to swim through the drainage pipe. And and then when she goes deeper into the basement to swim through this drainage pipe, she of course discovers that these are indeed family value gators, because they have nested in Barry Pepper's basement. And I was almost expecting the baby gators to try to snap at our main character, but they didn't. But one can again conclude that these are indeed family value gators, and maybe since this is Florida where the movie takes place, they are stand your ground family value gators, because they were protecting their home from invaders. So they are really Floridian, Floridians, those gators. But our main character, she gets out, and before she gets out, of course, she discovers that one of the dead cops had this radio, and she tries to signal, and we only hear, and had Roger, 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 and so on and so on. And then, of course, she gets out, and then she's able to rescue her dad, and he says to her, you can't make waves in the water, because the gators, that's the way they detect movement. But then she starts to, and anyway, and all the gators, they go and try to swim at her, but she gets to the boat, and then suddenly we hear the perch siren, and I was almost expecting to the announcer from the Perch movie saying, and so on and so on, yada yada yada. But then her and her dad, and the main character and her dad and the little dog, they are injected back into the house, and there's of course there's another fight between the gator and Barry Pepper, and then there's another fight between our main character and the gator, another gator too, and then they. Our main character, near the end, she stabs one of the gators in the eye with a road flare, and again, those gators, they weren't the enemy of the movie. If Florida had proper building rules, then those gators wouldn't have been able to get into the home in the first place. So the real villain of this story is a Floridian building inspector, in my opinion. So anyway, then of course at the end of the film, they get up to the roof, and there's this badly CG U.S. Coast Guard helicopter comes down, and our lead, she goes, and then the movie cuts to credits, and you know what plays during the the credit. This old 1950s song, "See You Later, Alligator." And I must say, the creators of this film, whom then they picked that song, it must. It does show, in my opinion, that they have humor. So that's quite funny, in my opinion. So just have to look something up on IMDb. Yeah, and the movie in general, it isn't. It does have some jump scares, but it doesn't really have these traditional horror movie jump scares, and I must say, all those family value moments. And our main character is, of course, called Haley, and and it was the sister who was called Beth. And the movie is created by two very Danish sounding or Scandinavian sounding producers, Sean and Michael Rasmussen. So I don't know if they're Danish, but Rasmussen sounds very Danish, in my opinion. And it was a good film. Yeah, it reminds me of a bit of a Deep Blue Sea, a 1999 film, with, LL Cool J. And that movie had LL Cool J playing the gangster chef, and him saying, "Take me back to the ghetto," and then doing the credits, it had this kick-ass late 90s rap song by LL Cool J, "My Head is Like a Shark's Fin." And if this movie had been made in the late 1990s, it would have had a kick-ass rap song during the credits. And I read somewhere regarding this film that someone, I don't know if it's true or not, complained to PETA because some person who watched this movie in America thought it was that the little dog was wet too much in the film. So someone complained about this movie to PETA. I read somewhere, I don't know where, I don't remember where, but I remember reading it after having watched this film. But this is a traditional, horror-esque monster flick with all the traditional elements, and somewhat okay acting, and but I guess a bit predictable, but entertaining. So if I'm gonna rate Crawl, I will give it 3 out of 5 stars. That's it, Euroman of Euroman's Movie Report. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, if you like this movie talk / movie review, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to watch my previous reviews / movie talks, you can click a link in the description. I will return later this week with another movie review. Until then, have a pleasant weekend, or a pleasant week, sorry, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.